Hi guys. So this is the second lecture for Access, Access Module 2. And the first thing that we're going to do with Access now is we're going to import something that's from Excel. So if you look at the screen, you can see that I have an Excel spreadsheet, a worksheet, and you can see that it's kind of filled out. And it's got the state name, the state abbreviation in the capital. And there are 52 states? No. Because the first row is, so it's 51, and then there's Washington, D.C., I think. Oh, maybe not. Oh, it looks okay. So anyway, we're going to import this. So I just wanted you to see what it looks like in Excel. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. And I have Access and a database already open. So it's running. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to import this data that you just saw from Excel into Access, into the database. So there is an external data tab, which brings up a ribbon. And then I'm supposed to click the new data source button. And it says from file, and then an Excel file. And then I'm going to click browse because I need to find where it is. So it's on my desktop, and it's in CIS1 A Office data files. There it is. And it's the states one here. And I'm going to click open. And now down here, it asks me, how do I want to do this? Do I want to import the source of data into a new table? Do I want to append, which basically means add to the end of, a copy of the records to an existing table? Or do I want to link this by creating a linked table? So I think what I'm supposed to do is just import the source as a new table. Now, it asks me if the first row contains column headings, which it does. See, state name, state abbreviation, and capital. That's the first row. So it does contain column headings. So those are going to be my new field names. So I click on that. Then I'm going to press next. And it asks me if this is correct, right? So what do I want to do here? This is the field name, state name. Is it indexed? Is it what's the data type? I can not import this field, but I'm fine. So I'm going to click next. Then it's going to say import, let Access add a primary key, choose my own primary key, or no primary key. Oh, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Choose my own primary key is what I'm supposed to do. And I want the state name. Oh, I want state abbreviations. That's going to be my primary key. And basically, that's the field that is going to be able to link my tables together. That's what my primary key is. And what basically, if you read it, it says it's going to uniquely identify each record in your table. And I can use that in conjunction with other tables that use the state abbreviation to then get the capital in the full state name. So I'm good here. And so I'm going to click next. It wants me to name the table. I'm going to call it states and click finish and close. So now I've created a new table and I can see it here. I'm going to go ahead and widen this a little bit. Well, I'm auto-sizing the columns, the fields. So it's added the 3 fields and it's filled in the data. So I'm great. Now, I'm going to add another file. So hold on, what does it want me to add now? It wants me to add another Excel one, and it wants me to do this one. So let's take a look at it and see what it is. So these are Canadian provinces. So I'm going to add that to my states table, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. You don't actually need to see it, but I always like to see it first. So I'm going to go to external data. Well, let me close this. Close. Do I want to see? Yes, I'll go ahead and save my changes. Okay. So new data source from file, Excel. And I'm going to append. So that means I'm going to add on to my existing table. And I'm going to pick states. And then I need to click browse because I need to find it. And there it is. It's this one, provinces. I click open. And now I can click OK. Finish. Close. So now if I look at my states table, you can see that, oh, it does have Washington, D.C. You can see that it's imported Alberta, British Columbia. Here, let's make this wider again. There we are. Let's see, what else is Canadian? Manitoba. These are all Canadian provinces. Now, I'm going to go ahead and close this, and I'll go ahead and save the changes. But what they basically want to show you is that you can rename a table or any object by right-clicking on it here and just clicking on rename. And so I'm going to name this states and what am I going to rename it? Provinces. And press enter. So now I have a new table called states and provinces. So that's basically how we can import data from Excel, for instance, external data. So now we have 2 views in Access. It's the datasheet view and the design view. So here we're going to modify some fields in datasheet view. So I first need to open the jobs table. And I'm going to go ahead and close this fields list tab. And I'm going to go to the starting salary field name. So that means I need to scroll over a little. There we are, starting salary. And I'm going to select the entire column just by clicking on the field name itself. Then I'm going to move the starting salary between the job title and the job responsibility. So I'm going to grab this thing and click and drag it. And see how this black line moves? So I'm going to put the black line there, and that should put it there. Starting salary is now between job title and job responsibilities. Now, let me go back to home here. So starting salaries is still selected. And I want to click the Fields tab here. So I have table tools. So I have 2 new ribbons that are up. I'm going to click on the Fields tab on this ribbon. And then I'm going to click the Format List because this is dollars and cents. Here, let me widen this. Starting salary. This is dollars and cents. Well, there's no cents, but it's dollars. So I'm going to format this as currency. So I'm going to click here and click on currency. Oh, what did it just do? I'm going to undo that. Hold on. I clicked on add and delete instead of currency here. So I need to now get rid of field 1. So I'm going to delete that. Okay, so I'm going to select the starting salary column, and I'm going to format this using currency right here. And what it does was it adds a $sign, commas in the thousands, and 2 decimal places. Now, since this is a salary, it doesn't have cents. So I'm going to decrease my decimal places here so that it doesn't show decimal places because they're all 0.00. So there we are. You don't get paid $40,000.35 a year. That's not your starting salary. It's 40,000. So now I'm supposed to scroll all the way over to the right, select the data filed column, and I'm supposed to delete that and press yes. There we go. So now I have modified some fields in data sheet view, and I'm going to modify next number and currency fields. So okay, so I'm going to go over to the right. I think I'm in the right number. Short. What is this? Company ID, job title. Yes, this is the one. So I'm going to scroll over to the right, still in data sheet view. And here where it says click to add, I'm going to click here. And what it first prompts me is what kind of data type should be in this field. And so we're going to do currency. So it added a field, and now it says field 1, and it's highlighted. So all I have to do to name this is type, and it types over whatever's highlighted. And I'm going to press enter. Oops. So I'm good. So now I've added this field. And then here, I'm going to click to add, and this is going to be a number, and I'm going to type in applicants. Now, I'm not going to add another one here, so I'm going to click over here in fee in the first cell for this field. And the fee is, what is it? $25.25. And then I can press tab, and now it goes, how many applicants? I'm going to press 50. And I'll click on the second record here, and you can see that I've added a fee, and it says how many applicants there are, and I'm good. Now, what they want me to do is they want me to add a default value here. So I'm going to click on the fee tab, and then I'm going to go to the fields tab. Oh, it's already selected, so I'm good. And right here it says default value. And you can see here is the default value that it's going to put in this field. So I'm supposed to put 50.25. And then I'm going to press OK. Okay, so what'll happen now if I add a new record? So if I come down here and I add a new record, notice how it automatically put 50.25 as the fee. And it put 0 as the starting salary. So there are some default values set here already. Now I'm going to, I don't need that record. So I can right click here. Oh, no, I can't right click because it won't let me delete the record for some reason. But those are default fields. Now I'm going to go into design view. Okay, so I'm going to click here in the views. This is in the fields. By the way, it's on the home ribbon too. There's a view. Views is all the way to the left. So I'm just going to click here, and I'm in design view. Remember that in design view we can only modify the data. We can't actually modify. Well, we can modify the field properties and the fields, add fields, remove fields. We cannot modify the actual data that, in this case, it's a table, is keeping track of, excuse me. So I'm going to go to the applicants field. So here's applicants. So make sure that's selected. So decimal places property box. So here, where's decimal places? Right here, it says auto. And I'm going to change the value to 0 so that there are no decimal places being shown, and I'll go ahead and press enter. So basically what I'm doing is I'm changing the properties of the field properties of the applicant's field. And there's a default value here. Is that supposed to change? No. But I am going to change the field size which is the first one. And instead of it being a long integer, I'm just going to put integer. Now, a long, so what's the difference? I think integers only go up to 36,000 plus or minus, and long integers may go higher than that. So I don't think I need more than that, so I'm good. Now, I'm going to go ahead and save this just by clicking the save button. Boom. And then I'm going to change back to my datasheet view. And yeah, I'll scroll over here to the right where it says applicants. Yeah. Okay. So it didn't really change much, but that I can see. But I did change some things. So now we're going to go to the contacts table. So I'm going to go ahead and close this table and go ahead and open my contacts table. And I'm supposed to go to design view. So I'm going to change my view again. And we're going to use an input mask, I guess, for what? Contact cell. So this should be the cell phone number. So here's my field, and I'm going to modify this field to use what we call an input mask. So I'm going to click on the input mask field property, and I'm going to click over here, and it's going to show me a whole bunch of different input masks that I can use. And I'll show you what I'll tell you what an input mask is, or I'll show you what it is in a second. So we're going to do the phone number one. And then I'll just show it to you right now. See, that's the mask that's going to show up. So it's got 3 spots for area code, and then 3 and a dash, and then 4. So I'm going to click next. Here is the mask. Is this what I want? Some places have, I can modify this, by the way, but I'm going to leave it the way it is. My placeholder character, I can change, but I like it. So I'll go ahead and press next. With symbols in the mask like this. So how do I want to actually store the data? Do I want to store it like this, or do I want to store it with the symbols? So that's a good question. I'm supposed to store it without the symbols. So I'm going to click finish. So there's my input mask. I've changed. Now I'm going to do the contact cell field. Oh, oops. The field size. I'm sorry. I'm going to change the field size. So how long should the field size be? Well, it can't be any longer than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 characters, right? That's how long a phone number is. So you should, I don't need more spaces. Okay, so I'm supposed to click the datasheet view, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And it says, yes, do you want to save the table? Yes. And then it's saying some data may be lost because I just changed stuff, but I'm going to continue anyway. And then I'm going to go to new and press tab 3 times. And then I'm going to type, oh, is it for the first record? Okay, so I'm going to click on the first record here. Oops. Here, I'll press tab to get over there. And then I'm going to type 5, 5, and look, you can see the input mask showing up. 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4. So that's what an input mask does. And you may have seen that there's one for zip codes, there's one for social security numbers, etc. Now, we're supposed to work with date and time fields. So let's check this out. I'm supposed to go back to design view. There we are. So just below contact email, I want to add a new field to this table. So basically that's going to add a new column. So I'm going to type in entry date. And this, the data type, is going to be date time. Here it is. Now you can see that my field properties changed a little bit. So they're different for each kind of data type that's going in that field. And I'm going to click here on format and then this down arrow. And there's different ways for us to keep track of the date. And I'm supposed to do a short date. So that's the kind of thing that's going to go in there. Oh, I'm supposed to do medium date. I'm sorry. So it has 2 numbers, then the abbreviation of the month, and then 2 numbers for the year. And I'm going to have a default value. Now, the default value is going to be whatever the date is that the record was entered. So in order to do that, we have a function that will just take whatever the date is on the computer and fill it into the field. And so if I use that function as my default value, then it'll put in whenever you add a record, it's going to put in that date. So I'm going to go equals and then date and then empty parentheses. Yeah, I got it. Now I'm going to go back to my datasheet view. And yes, I have to save it before I change views. And look at the last record here. It's showing today's date automatically as the entry date. And yes, it's Monday. And I'm doing this now. So now, let's see, what does it say here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And look here, it's going to give me, because this record already exists, I have a little calendar. And so I can actually pick the date that I want. And so I could pick whatever date And I could do that for the second record as well. When was this entered? And I could do it for the third or the last record, which hasn't been entered yet, but the default value will be whatever day it is. So that's what that, but I can always pick that little calendar. So entry date, field name. In the Fields tab here, I'm supposed to click the required checkbox as shown. So basically, it means that this is a required field. So here, field validation, is it required? Yes, it is required. So remember, I didn't click on one particular piece of data. I clicked on the field, the whole column. So I selected that. Now it's required. I will click save. Just click the save button. That saves whatever's open right now. And then I'm good. So I'm going to go ahead and close this contacts table. And now we're going to talk about primary keys. So a primary key basically does two things. It identifies what unique field in that table is going to identify each, can be used to identify each record. And secondly, it helps to relate one table to another table. So we can link those two fields, and that way we can pull data. And it's easier to show you. So we're going to go to the companies table, and I'm going to go to design view. And you can see that there's a key right here on the very left where it says company ID. There's a little key, and I know it's difficult to see, but it's yellow. And that's so and now they want me to show you that. So that's company ID is the unique field. So now I'm supposed to go to the context table and see this one doesn't have a unique field. So if I go to design view, contact ID, and I'm going to make that my primary key. So see here in the tools group, I press primary key, the little key shows up. So I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to close this. Now, industries. So I'm going to right click and go to design view. And see, it just says industry. And the industry field is the primary key. Okay, so they just want me to close that. Now they want me to go to the jobs table. They want me to do this by right clicking and going to design view immediately. Auto number, job ID, that's the primary key there. And so I'm going to go ahead and close that. And then in states and provinces, we want to see what the primary key is. I have to go to design view. So I'll just go ahead and click here. And it's the state abbreviation. That's the key. And then I'm going to go ahead and close that. So now we know what the keys are for each one of the tables. So I'm going to design or I'm going to relate my tables. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a one-to-many relationship. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the database tools tab. So database tools is right here. And then in the relationships button, in the relationships group, I'm going to click. And now it's showing me 1, 2, 3, 4 tables. How many tables do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I guess one of these doesn't have a primary key. But you can see here the relationship. So in industries, the primary key is linked to the industry key here in the companies table, and the company ID is linked to the company ID in the jobs table. So that means that it can find all of the information out of all three of these tables together. Now, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to drag the states and provinces table into here. Look, it showed up. So I just clicked and dragged that into my relationships. So I'm going to go from my state abbreviation table, from my state abbreviation field in states and provinces to what? To the state field in the companies table. And so from state abbreviations to state, and I'm going to create. Oops. Uh-oh, it got really windy. I want to edit the existing one because I want to enforce. There we go. So now it's created a one-to-many from state abbreviation to state. Okay. Okay, so what am I supposed to do now? Right-click the contact field, contacts table field list. So where's the contacts? Right here. So I'm going to right-click here, and I'm going to click Table Design. And right underneath here at the very bottom, I'm going to add a field, it looks like, and that field is going to be Company ID. What I'm doing now is I'm creating, I'm pretty sure, a primary key. And this is going to be a number for Company ID. And then I'm going to save this and I'm going to close it. So I've added a company ID. Now look, company ID is here, but it's also here. So now I can link my contacts field with company ID in the companies table. Then I could link the two. So let's see if that's what I'm going to do. Drag the company ID field to the company ID field. Okay, I will. So I'm going to click on this one, and then I'm going to click and drag it to the company ID field here. And then it asks me, and do I want to enforce? Yes, I do. Referential integrity, and I'm going to click create. You can see now it's created here. Let me do this. I can move this around a little bit. So now you can see how these things are linked together. So basically that means by using, any one of these fields, I can now link all of the fields from every table together. And I can use them in a query, or I can create a report and pick and choose basically what it is that I want to see. So if I just want to see the state capital, right, I can. But if I also want to see the company name of that record, I can. And if I want to see the job responsibilities and the company name for the job responsibilities and the state abbreviation and the entry date and the industry that it's in, I can pick those fields. And then if it's a report, it'll show me all those fields and it'll show me the correct one pertaining to the same kind of record. So what am I supposed to do? Referential, okay, click the design tab and click the relationship report button. Oh, I don't want to save the report. I'm just going to click close. Okay, so I'm going to save this. So I made sure I saved it. And then I'm going to click close here. That's the little X. And then that's gone. Now what are we supposed to do? Oh, sub data sheets. Oh, this is the last part of this module 2. So I'm going to double click the industries table. There we are. Now, right here, there's a select. Okay, so let me do that again. Next to the first field, there's a little gray box. That's the select all box. So if I click that, it selects all. And then I'm going to click the expand button to expand all the sub data sheets at the same time. So the expand button does that. And then what am I supposed to expand? To the left of the navigational systems record here. So I'm supposed to expand that one. Jobs. Okay, so what am I doing here? Basically, this table has subdata. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to add jobs, the jobs table, and which one? Hold on. Click OK. So I'm going to click OK. And look, now in navigational systems, it's showing me jobs. And where is it showing it to me from? Well, it's showing me, okay, so let's go navigational systems. That's right here, right? So navigational systems has a company ID of 19. So where is this data coming from? It's coming from the jobs table. So let's open that. And okay, so what was it? Let me see that what this was. Navigational systems. So I want to go back to my jobs table and look for navigational systems. Okay, let me company ID. And I'm going to go down here, navigational systems. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all, which unchecks all of these. And what I'm doing is I'm filtering here. So I'm going to pick navigational systems and press OK. So you can see that for navigational systems, that company, they have 4 jobs in the jobs table. So admissions director, market managing. Admissions director, market managing. So I'm going to go back to industries and look, it says admissions director, market managing. So basically what it's done is I have added a sub data sheet for navigational systems, the company. And what did I grab? I grabbed the stuff for navigational systems, the records for the jobs from the jobs table for navigational systems of the company. So hopefully you can kind of see what that did. We can do general digital ink. Oh, it's already done. So let me close this and see if I can do a new one. What about this one? No, it's already been done. Okay, so they've done it for all of them. So what they've done here is that it says aerospace, right? So agriculture, banking, they have all kinds of different industries. You know what? Let me select all and close them all. So there are all kinds of different industries. And what they've done here is they added, well, let me do that again. They showed me all of the banking companies. So these are the 3 banking companies that I have in my companies list. So let's look at industry here and let's filter by banking. So I'm going to click banking and press OK. And see there are 3 companies here that are banking. And so basically what they did was they created a sub-data from the companies list that shows me all the banking or all of the hospital. Oh, I don't have any. All of the energy companies. There's 2. And then we had sub-data for each one of these companies from the actual jobs list. So if I want to know what jobs Johnson County Chemicals has, I click on it, and there's 1, I think. I have to scroll down here. No, there's a bunch. Oops, I scrolled too far. Right, there's a whole bunch. So don't like that one, there are too many. What about sail through? Ah, there's only 1, good. But it pulled that out. So you can see very quickly, I can kind of scroll through here and figure out, oh, what kind of job are you looking for? What industry are you looking for a job in? Oh, you want something in pharmaceuticals. So let me see. I have nothing in pharmaceuticals. So what about telecommunications? Oh, I have 1 company that's located in Boston, Massachusetts, and they have a couple of jobs with a job that they're offering, claims administrator. So you can see how sub-data kind of works. So that's what you need to know. That's what you need to work with, and that's it. So there you go. I'm going to have to re-download those files. So anyhow, that's the end of this lecture. Good luck. Remember, work on Access. I don't think the project is too difficult. And there you go. So we'll see you all later. I'm going to stop recording. And there you go. Okay, bye.